Welcome back to Namoli Family Stadium for the finale of this three-game series between the Barry Buccaneers and the Tampa Spartans. The Spartans have won both games thus far. Last night took the opening game in the fashion of 2-0, and then just earlier today won 8-0 against these Barry Buccaneers. Senior Day, we got to acknowledge 5 tremendous seniors, both on and off the field. Of course, Sam Worrell, Brianna Taphouse, Michaela Dooley, Lauren Pasco, and Erica Matic, of course. And Bruce, what a display, particularly by Michaela Dooley in the circle, but then the explosion offensively by the Spartans. 10 hits, 8 runs to show for it.
Well, and I think I'm most amazed by the fact that she's in the circle to start this game again. She threw a complete game last night. And by the way, in case you're tuning in now, and it's 2:06 Eastern time, they had moved the start time of the first game to 12 noon, and that was a game that ended early because of the run-ahead rule. So now here we are starting game 2, and as I mentioned, Michaela Dooley, a complete game last night. She threw a complete game, albeit shortened, in game 1, and now here she is in the circle again to start game 2. So 3 games in the space of definitely less than 24 hours, maybe about 3 games in 19 hours.
Yeah, and you mentioned Dooley getting her 3rd straight start. She threw 138 pitches through the first 2 games, but obviously the arm is feeling good enough to give it a go here, and why not? It's Senior Day, and to mention about the ceremony, give a lot of credit to the sportsmanship by the Spartans. The lone senior, Lindsay Duncan, serves it over to Corinne Miner, who makes the play. They gave her some acknowledgement, and they recognized her being a senior as well. So kudos by the Spartans for that act of sportsmanship. As we take a look at the defense for Tampa, moving left to right in the outfield, Reyes, Miner, and over there will be, I believe we have Lauren Pasco, we do, and then Sam Wall, Stephanie Balmer, Christina Clawberg, Emily Jansen, Maddie Farrell round out the infield. Michaela Dooley in the circle.
And Connor, I want to demonstrate some sportsmanship myself and correct something that I said at the end of the broadcast following game 1 of this doubleheader, especially for those of you who are watching from a Barry perspective. Their one-loss record is now 13-30. I had misstated the number of losses that they have in 2019. So as this game 2 of the doubleheader gets underway, it's 13-30 Barry going against now Tampa, who is 27-9.
And Dooley gets the strikeout of Savannah Starling, and we saw earlier today that changeup just has the movement, and if you're a hitter, you have to respect her fastball. So when you get the changeup, very difficult to adjust.
And let's also mention someone else who has just been a real trooper through all of these games, and that is Mother Nature. They started the game earlier today at 12 noon because there was a thought last night when they rescheduled it that maybe there would be some rain moving in today, and it's sunny and 84 degrees right now, and it's just been an absolutely splendid day for softball here at the Namoli Family Stadium.
It may be a tad bit humid, but hey, that's Florida for you, so happy to have you with us on the Sunshine State Digital Network. Bruce Wozniak, Connor Moore calling the action as staying alive is Berlin Coleman against Dooley.
And I think, Connor, why I'm more sensitive to the weather is because all the years that I worked in international softball, going to the Olympics, World Championships, in international play, it was actually a rule that the players had to wear shorts. And so in college softball, when they're wearing long pants, and to see the Spartans in particular wearing black pants in the sun, that eventually is going to take its toll on you. But as you mentioned, it's West Central Florida. They're used to it. This is their home stadium. So even to Barry coming up from the Miami area, they know the hand that they're going to be dealt, and so you just stay hydrated. And as I mentioned during the first game, maybe have a sports drink and a protein bar in between both games of the doubleheader.
Yeah, definitely. And Michaela Dooley, 1-2-3 first inning now, 13 consecutive scoreless innings in just this series alone, dating back not even 24 hours ago.
Your trusted Tampa Subaru dealer is Mastro Subaru, located at 6402 West Hillsborough Avenue. Customers can view their huge Subaru inventory as well as receive full service maintenance on vehicles. As a Spartan sponsor, watch for Mastro's UT staff and student service specials At Mastro Subaru, their slogan is "Our reputation rides with you."
All right, let's take a look at the Spartan lineup who will be going up against Gabby Valley, and we'll talk more about her in a little bit about what she did last night to keep Barry in it. It's the designated player Lexi Chevalier, second baseman Christina Clawberg, center fielder Corinne Miner, third baseman Sam Warrell, catching Maddie Farrell, Emily Jansen, Lauren Reyes, and Stephanie Balmer round out the lineup. Worth noting, both pitchers are in the flex position, so neither Gabby Valley nor Michaela Dooley will be hitting, at least to start this ball game. And the first pitch, Chevalier swinging away, serves it to right field, and making the running catch is Savannah Starling.
I think, Connor, a lot of us were surprised when I was at the Olympics in 2004 in Athens and how really prevalent the heat was there over all those days of the competition, and something that a lot of players had to adjust to going over to Greece in August of 2004 and just really having ideal conditions, mind you. You didn't have to worry about rainouts, but very Florida-like for sure.
Absolutely, and Christina Clawberg now, 0-1. And Bruce, we've been talking a little bit about it as that one is crushed. That's a fair ball down the left field line. I think that might have ricocheted off of Diaz's glove, and it did. So it's a stand-up double for Clawberg, and she's been phenomenal this
there was a little bit of hesitancy all the way around. I think all of us, including those that are playing the game, thought that was foul. And in fact, you saw the home plate umpire signaling that it was fair. And so for the Spartans here early, bottom of the first inning, already a runner in scoring position.
It was Brian Serafin with the call, and you said it, Bruce. It was bang bang as Corinne Miner wasting no time, but a nice running catch by Lindsey Duncan, and Clawberg will advance to third.
Yeah, give credit to Duncan for the catch there in the outfield, although as you mentioned, Clawberg now at third. So with two away, the Spartans have a runner that much closer to home and an opportunity for possibly the game's first run.
And it will be Sam Warrell, one of the 5 seniors for Tampa, honored before the game. And the defense in the infield playing very far back, almost on the edge of the outfield there, particularly in the middle. So respecting the pop of Sam Warrell.
Yeah, and we did see some well-hit balls in that first game, so Barry perhaps making adjustments all the way around and saying, okay, Spartans have their hitting shoes on today. Let's be ready for some deep balls.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier we have yet to call a home run here in Namoli yet, but Corinne Miner came extremely close, so who knows if we might have one in the finale. We shall see. And it's a 1-1. Change up low, 2-1.
Spartans do have still 3 more home games after today. April 18th, 7 p.m. game against Palm Beach Atlantic, and then a doubleheader the next day starting at 2 p.m.
Sky high pop-up, shallow left field. Santiago there, and it's clean first inning for both sides. That was the first time we've seen that. Spartans had 2 to start the opener and had 3 in the bottom of the first inning in the middle game. But Gabby Valley, we talked a bunch about her last night. She's one of those players that, only a freshman, but the maturity and the poise in the circle, she's the best bet, it seems, for head coach Sean Cotter to keep the Buccaneers in this game.
Yeah, she stood toe-to-toe against Michaela Dooley last night. And really, Connor, even though you take the loss, and a tough loss, you can still take confidence from that and still come into this game knowing, okay, I was this close last night, and so I have every reason to believe in myself, and the coach believes in me, doesn't hesitate to put her back in for the second time in 3 games. So the Spartans, almost a brand new game for them now, because facing an entirely different pitcher, and one who I don't want to say is in their heads, but they know from last night she's going to give us a game this afternoon.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous point because when you look at game flow, obviously these two pitchers faced last night, 2-0 game, not a whole lot of offense. However, in the middle game earlier today, that was not the case for the Spartans bats. So Gabby Valley was phenomenal last night, but we'll have to match that essentially to try to slow down the Tampa offense.
And so let's make a note of that runner that was left on third base to end the inning, because that could come into play later, because as you're saying, if it turns out to be the kind of game it was last night, anytime you get a runner in that position, you need to convert.
All right, here we go. Andrea Johnson, freshman from Middletown, cleanup hitter against Dooley here in the top of the second. Gets the outside corner, strike one.
I mentioned in the first game that it's terrific to see this fan support here, and on a very hot, long afternoon, it's great to see everybody sticking around for the second game of the doubleheader, and a lot of people who are watching would probably say, well, why wouldn't they? They're already there. But it is hot, and it is a long afternoon, but testament to them to stick around and support the team in both games here this afternoon.
Yeah, and what an atmosphere it has been here in the Tampa community. Obviously, the softball going on, baseball against Embry-Riddle. Of course, the women's Final Four last night. We saw championship will be tomorrow. We've done a bunch of the lacrosse games in mid-season. It's an exciting time right now for the Tampa sports community.
That one's fouled back.
And it's really hard to adjust. I mean, these Buccaneer hitters have seen a fair amount of Dooley this series, but she keeps you on your toes and does not give in at all as the 1-2 on its way. She gone. Got her swinging.
I would say not a fair amount. They've seen more of her than they care to see.
A little bit too much, maybe.
Yeah.
That was just a dynamite pitch right there. Brushing inside and unable to hold up was Johnson.
You know, I talked in the first game about the job of a coach, and another thing that a coach has to do is when the players look over and see they're starting her again, is to immediately change that attitude, change their mindset, and tell these players, this is the game that we break through.
Here we go. It will be Peyton Rawls. She started last game for Barry.
You can't say enough about the mental aspect of sport, because here's a case where if you start stating those negative intentions and believing that McKaylee Dooley has beaten you 2 in a row, so why can't she beat you 3? You're going to beat yourself. So if you flip it and say, she's got to be tired, we can beat her, you stand a much better chance.
Lazy pop-up to Balmer, makes the play. 2 down, and Dooley has been so automatic. She was walking to the dugout thinking that was the 3rd out, but hold on, you got one more coming.
She has a good laugh in the pitching circle about that.
And you can't blame her. I mean, this is, for crying out loud, her 3rd start. She's been in and out of that dugout so often, going back and forth. And here we go now. 2 outs. Pitch on the way. In there for a strike to Ariana Diaz.
Connor, we talked during the first game about did Barry get the proper amount of sleep last night. That's probably something that McKaylee Dooley is looking forward to tremendously, is going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, get some sleep, an ice bath, well-deserved, 100% for McKaylee Dooley. What a senior campaign it has been for her. Has put her name, rightfully so, in conference contention for Player of the Year awards, without a doubt.
And she'll also leave UT with her name all over the Spartans record book in terms of ranking right up there among the all-time leaders in several pitching categories.
And it's a 1-2. She gone. Got the strikeout of Diaz. And it's a 1-2-3, top of the second inning. We'll go to the bottom of the second. You're listening live on TampaSpartans.tv.
For fresh-made hot or cold subs, visit Firehouse Subs. At Firehouse, our subs are made the firefighter way, served steaming hot and loaded with the finest fresh sliced meats and cheeses. Located at 2617 West Kennedy Boulevard, Firehouse, founded by firemen.
And to get back to your point, Bruce, about coaching, without a doubt, know that during the intermission that head coach Sean Cotter was talking about defensive principles with his team. They committed 3 errors in the first game, and you really can't blame the pitching in terms of Rawls. She gave up 6 runs, only 1 of which was earned. Of course, Johnson came up and gave 200 runs themselves, but Barry so far defensively have looked pretty solid. That's going to be a point of emphasis today if they want to hang around in this finale.
Well, and it's not an opinion. It's as simple as looking at the stats, and you'll see the errors that they committed. You'll see the passed balls, and just a really different game for Barry in Game 1 today than what we saw them put together last night, because last night they really had all the pieces. They just were short a couple of runs, and just a team that did not have it together in Game 1 and hopefully have been able to regroup if they are to not get swept by the Spartans.
Yeah, I cannot say again how impactful Maddie Farrell is. Of course, she got the Spartans offense going with the 2-run single last game at the dish. Takes high, ball 1.
Maddie Farrell may have taken a little bit of a glance out to the pitching circles to say, that was a little too close. Not sure I liked your placement there, Valley.
And it's incredible how contagious hitting is. You get the feeling that these Spartan hitters, they're vibing off one another. Someone gets a hit, it's a good sense of urgency when you get to the plate, and everything seems to be clicking with the Spartans. They found their lineup that they have been ideally looking for throughout this season. 3-1 the count now. Just missing is Valley. Hitter's count for Farrell, and she works a walk. Will take first base as the first baseman Emily Jansen now gets her first at bat, and we will have a pinch runner. And quickly out of the dugout is Mackenzie Allen to take over for Maddie Farrell. Talked about that last game. She knows her role. She scores runs, and she's a threat on the base paths with those wheels.
And so the Spartans, riding what is now a 17-game winning streak, they have not lost since March 8th. It was a game here at home against number 10 Florida Tech, a 2-0 decision. And those of you who are watching and are superstitious, forget about it, because I talked in Game 1 of this series, which is last night, and here they are 2 games later, 2 wins later.
What a marvelous job by Jensen, able to get the bunt down successfully in fair play. As that ball by Valley was elevated up and in, and she had to make an acrobatic play just to get that bunt down. Sacrifice successful, advancing to second is Allen, 1 down for the left fielder Lauren Reyes.
Now batting for the Spartans, number 17, Lauren Reyes.
And if you're someone like Lauren Reyes, who's a junior, you watch that ceremony before the game for senior day, and it really gives you kind of a sense of, I need to step up. We're going to be looking for some leadership, and these 5 players are going to be gone. And it really makes an impact on you watching them exit the program and knowing that you're going to be looked to for veteran leadership next season.
Absolutely, and especially for Reyes, we saw her particularly in the flex position, playing left field but not getting at-bats. Flip-flop today as Dooley's the flex, and she gets the opportunity to swing the bat. She checks her swing, held up, and she's now ahead 3-0 in the count as we look at Stephanie Balmer, who's on deck. So Valley losing the strike zone, and that's a walk in the heads-up base running by Allen to dash to third. So runners on the corners now. Spartans knocking on the door with 1 out.
And ironically, as those 5 seniors get ready to exit the program, there are 5 juniors on the 2019 roster. So it'll be the same number next year, another quintet of seniors when the 2019-2020 season gets underway.
And that's an important point, Bruce, because that's just an accreditation to what Leslie Cantor has done here in terms of developing each class, making the transition easy for their team. And it's a bright future for the Spartans as Reyes will steal second base. And now second and third for the Spartans for their shortstop, Stephanie Balmer.
So Reyes at second and Mackenzie Allen at third as there's 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Which, Connor, if you're Barry, you can kind of rally around the fact that, okay, we got scored upon in each of the 4 innings that Tampa batted in Game 1, and now here we are 1 2/3 innings into Game 2, and we've held them off the scoreboard. And again, it could be that difference, as we talked about, with the great pitching that was expected from Valley based on her performance last night.
And that's a web gem pick at the hot corner by Diaz that time, and getting the lead runner, Allen, just an incredible play, because if that ball skirts by her, that is definitely going to score at least 2, and with the speed of Balmer, could have been potentially a triple.
Now, mind you, that did play right into their hands, figuratively and literally, but these are the small little things that you have to look for some positives in every play, every inning. And as I say, now they're 1 2/3 innings into this game, and a chance to escape here with possibly another goose egg for the Spartans. So Barry starting off already looking better than Game 1 of this doubleheader.
All right, another senior, Lauren Pascal, up for the Spartans behind 0-2. Must have been a feel-good moment for her. Not only did she get her first extra base hit earlier today, she got her first run batted in for the seniors. So special day for her. Not over yet. Runners in the corners can expand on it.
Yeah, it'll make the celebration with the family a little bit more special later tonight.
And dashing to second is Balmer, and she is out. So a nice throw that time by the catcher tonight. So it's going to be Taylor Randazzo. We had seen Fallon Dragic the first 2 games, but a strong throw by Taylor Randazzo, the sophomore, to get out of the second inning. We move to the third, and like you said, Bruce, 0's on the board.
Yeah, if you're Barry, you got to be really excited. A couple of really important, good defensive plays there in that second inning, and so now here they come up to bat in the top of the third, and a very different score than it was in the top of the third in Game 1 when the Spartans were already up 6-0. At Jimmy John's, they're freaks about fresh bread, meats, and veggies, because that means better sandwiches for all. Freaky fresh, freaky fast. Jimmy John's, freaky yeah.
All right, so Michaela Dooley preparing for her third inning of work. And this is an important situation right now for both sides, as you mentioned, Bruce. Opportunity for Barry to not only score their first run of the series, but take their first lead. And you get the impression, if they can get it together offensively with how Gabby Valley has been dealing, never know.
Yeah, and as much as I wanted to make sure that I stated the correct 1-loss record, if you're UT, you can't look over at the other side of the field and say, hey, look at here's a Barry team that's 13-30, and just mail it in, because now all of a sudden you're top of the third and 0-0, and you say, remember what happened last night? So every opponent you've got to look at as though it's 0-0 first game of the season, 0-0 1-loss record first game of the season. Not write anybody off.
Definitely, especially it's good and bad with a team like that record. Obviously bad for the standings, but a positive in that you're playing with house money, nothing to lose really. And here in the series finale, I should say, Barry would love nothing more than to steal a victory and get an upset win against Michaela Dooley and the Spartans, try to spoil their senior day. But for Tampa, it seems pretty simple. Just let Michaela Dooley continue operating in the circle.
Santiago, 1-1 to her. Farrell handles that one easily.
Routine play there. And here we go with 1 out. Taylor Randazzo. She threw out Balmer to conclude the bottom of the second inning. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes a first pitch strike.
She stepped out of the batter's box and looked like she was looking over at Coach Carter, and nope, I'm just enjoying the shade over here. You got this. You know what to do over there. I don't need to give you any instructions. Yeah. Enjoying the little bit of shade that there is thrown by this tree over next to the Spartans dugout.
And the 0-2 from Dooley. Pokes at it to stay alive. And we'll say it again and again. This is just the kind of game where you feel the first team to make an error in particular, that could come back to be the difference just based on the first two games. As Dooley just misses, and it's a 1-2 count. And the 1-2. That one hit well, just foul.
You know, Connor, you made the point about how efficient Michaela Dooley has been with her pitches. We haven't been seeing any of these Barry batters really been able to work along at bat.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to how Dooley has not wasted any pitches. She's been right around the strike zone throughout, and here we are again with the 1-2. And yes, sir, right there on the black with the punch out. Brian Seraphin, and 2 down for the Buccaneers. Next up, it will be Courtney Chisholm, freshman from Apoca, Florida.
Batting for Barry, number 30, Courtney Chisholm.
And to get back to that Randazzo, like you were saying, Bruce, that was one of the few instances where we saw an at-bat go over 5 pitches. It's the first pitch in there for a strike.
But again, getting back to the mental aspect of the game, if you're Courtney Chisholm, you look at it instead and say, well, I want to be the one to break up the no-hitter. I'm not going to look at and get discouraged by my teammate ahead of me striking out. I'm going to go up there with confidence and say I'm going to be the one that's going to break through and finally dent Michaela Dooley's performance.
As we look ahead to the bottom of the third, Pasco, Chevalier, Clawberg, 9-1-2 for Tampa. And that is a routine play for Worrell over at third. So 3 up, 3 down. And Michaela Dooley continues to cruise against the Buccaneer lineup. We'll be back right after this.
Florida Orthopedic Urgent Care. Give it up to the Spartan team of physicians of Florida Orthopedic Institute, Florida's largest orthopedic group, and to Dr. Seth Gasser and his sports medicine team for keeping our players active and safe on and off the field with their Ortho Urgent Care located just minutes away in South Tampa.
All right, we see a huddle here by the Spartans outside their dugout, led by Coach Leslie Cantor. And I think if I were the coach, Bruce, I would just be saying continue to stay poised and together. And as this lineup goes back to the top following Pasco here, the Spartans have thrived just getting the opposite field hits, going up the middle, staying firm at the plate, and passing it on to their teammates. And credit Gabby Valley through the first 2 innings. She's held them in check.
Yeah, the Spartans know this is their game, this is their stadium. They've got confidence from the winning streak, just the history of the program. And they'll go up there looking to try to get the game's first run here in the bottom of the third.
All right, so we are about ready for the first pitch in the bottom of the third inning. Valley on the rubber as Pasco steps into the batter's box. The pitch on its way. Breaking ball in there for a strike. The 0-1 upstairs, 1-1. In at first base is Diaz.
You know, I talked in the first game about how Barry had fallen so far behind that they weren't going to win it with one swing of the bat. And if you're the Spartans players, you have to remember right now that same thing. You're not going to win it with one swing of the bat. It is only the bottom of the third inning, so just focus on getting on base.
And a prime opportunity, 3-1 for Pasco. Spartan fans know how well she runs if she's able to get on board. The 3-1, And a walk is issued by Valley, so the Spartans get the leadoff runner on board.
And despite the success that the Spartans have had in these 2+ games against Barry, one thing about Barry's pitching, we haven't seen bushels of walks being issued. So the Spartans are, in a sense, having to earn their on base in terms of, yes, we saw some errors in game 1, but they're not just opening the door to first base to the Spartans batters.
Yeah, and we see some potential small ball on display with Chevalier was squaring to bunt, hoping to advance Pasco to second, and it's a 1-1 count. I think I agree with this move here to try to get the lead runner in scoring position for the heart of the lineup coming up. And Dooley has been so effective when given a lead. Bunt is successful, but it was right at Valley, and she has the awareness to get the lead runner throwing onwards to Santiago.
Well, and Barry might have also known, as you had mentioned, that Pasco will run. So they thought Tampa's trying to get the runner ahead, and she's a speedster, so we need to be ready to make the play at second base, and they were able to execute exactly that.
And that's a crucial play, and to your point about Barry, right there, not going to allow a sacrifice to be made as Clawberg grounds it, and here we go. Advancing to third is Chevalier, so bit of an issue by the middle infielders, and runners on the corners now for Corinne Minor.
Very quickly the momentum can shift because it was a real shot in the arm for Barry to say, great, we took away the opportunity for the Spartans to put a runner on second, and now all of a sudden in the flip of a switch, all of a sudden you throw one away, and now the Spartans have a runner at third. So let's see if the Spartans can recognize that and seize the momentum and at least convert the game's first run, if not start to do a little bit of damage. There is still only one out.
Yeah, and looking right here, we see Peyton Rawls, the third baseman. She's the lone upperclassman on this infield, kind of taking charge and trying to settle down the troops as we have an opportunity now for Corinne Minor where a ball that gets into the outfield at the very least could be a sacrifice fly and get us on the scoreboard. In at the corners are Rawls and Diaz. First pitch. That's a nice stop by Randazzo to get that, as that was about 5 feet to the right of the strike zone.
Yeah, an important stop. Corinne Minor 0 for 1 so far in this game, looking down at her coach for instructions as she awaits the 1-0 from Valley.
And Minor, little looper in the shallow center, will fall in front of Duncan, and that'll be an RBI single. Coming home is Chevalier, 1-0 Spartans.
Yeah, I was watching closely to see if that catch was going to be made. You had called for the sacrifice, and they get the run across regardless, but the even better news if you're a Spartans fan is that there was no catch made in the outfield.
And it was a tough decision for the center fielder, Duncan, because she makes a diving attempt. Obviously, if you catch it, great. But if you don't catch it, you have no one behind you, and that ball could potentially go to the wall. So
yeah, then there's some real damage done as opposed to it's only 1-0.
So 0-1 on Warrow. Valley's pitch, crushed foul into the Spartan bullpen.
As Amir, does Warrow look like she's really pumped for this at-bat?
Yeah, she has such quick hands. When that pitch is delivered, she turns on that ball and drives it. As that one sent to shallow left center. Duncan makes the play. 2 down. Runners stay put.
Yeah, I think Duncan's happy to be able to get to that one. Make up for not being able to reach the previous ball that came her way. But to finish on Worrell, I think you see on the play before you, the first run scores, you're looking out into the infield. You see teammates standing on first and second. She did give that one a good ride.
All right, Maddie Farrell. 2 on, 2 out. Bottom of the third inning. Swinging away. Routine catch for Santiago. And 3-3, Spartans leading the Buccaneers 1-0 on the Sunshine State Digital Network.
University Dining Services by Sodexo allows you to choose from 27 dining stations serving breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, and snacks. The official concessionaire of UT Athletics is Sodexo Campus Dining. Visit the UT website and check dining services for their variety and hours.
Would also like to give a shout out over at the UT baseball field. Tie game 3-3, Embry-Riddle Eagles and the Tampa Spartans. Obviously a lot on the line for conference standings in that regard, is Embry-Riddle and the Spartans atop the board there. But as we look here, Bruce, 34 pitches through 3 innings for Michaela Dooley. What has she done all series long, really, to shut down this offense and stay in tune to what she's been doing all year?
Well, and as I mentioned, being very efficient with her pitches is why she's able to be this deep into her 3rd straight game. And I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, less than 24 hours. And she's the reason why they won 2-0 last night. The run rule today, and now here she is still just putting up goose eggs inning after inning on the Barry portion of the scoreboard.
And it is pretty evident that she is the Spartans' workhorse in the circle. Spartans rely on her, and she deserves all the credit in the world with the performance she's put on.
But at the same time, let's face it, she has the luxury of saying, you know what, Coach, the heat is getting to be a little bit too much for me. I'm a little tired after working last night, game 1. I think let's go ahead and take the rest of the game off and give someone else a chance to finish this out and preserve my health.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing as a student athlete that is very tough to admit is when the heat is just too much for you here in West Central Florida. And so, you know, to take care of your body and say, you know, I think I'm done. I think I'm good. That also shows trust in your teammates, that you can say, I know that someone else can finish this out. You know, I think I'm just ready at this point to give my arm, my shoulder, and the rest of my body a rest.
And to finish on that note, the relationship between Coach Leslie Cantor and Michaela Dooley, to have that ability as we see Duncan get a single in the right center field, that's everything right there, to have that from your stud in the circle. And of course your coach caught up with Michaela early and throughout the season. Her and Coach Cantor have the relationship that every coach and athlete want to have.
Well, so let's see what Barry can do now as they get a runner on base with their first hit of the game in the top of the 4th. And you see showing bunt there, Savannah Starling.
And sort of the unsung hero has been Lindsey Duncan. She's steadily put together a heck of a series, stringing together numerous hits and providing some offense for the Buccaneers in that leadoff spot. As Starling grounds it over to Clawberg. Impressive play to get the speedy Starling at first. 1 down, moving to second is Duncan.
But Lindsey Duncan, we have also called her name defensively a handful of times, so you're right, Connor, that she has been a presence here in this series.
And let's take a look. We see Leslie Cantor make a move to the circle. Let's see if she takes the ball from Dooley. To your point, you were saying, I think we're having that conversation. Hey, how you feeling? Let me know what's going on.
Exactly.
Do you need anything? And I think Michaela see a little laughter there saying, I'm all good, Coach. Thanks for checking in, but everything's all good on this side.
Yeah, and that's one of those, you know, I know you're a gamer. I know you want to go the distance, and I admire that, you know, but, and this is not to imply that she's being selfish, but remember, the team comes first, and we do want to win this game regardless of what it takes, whoever it needs to be in that circle for us to win this game.
All right, here we go. So they've been hard to come by, but runner in scoring position for the Buccaneers. Can they cash in? Let's see. Berlin Colvin, freshman from Gilbert, Arizona, left fielder, with Lindsey Duncan at second. It's 1-1 the count.
Yeah, and I don't want to play Monday morning quarterback here. There's just all kinds of speculation, but you do have to wonder, and I don't want to overstate this, but if things get worse before they get better, if Coach Cantor will revisit the circle and say, look, you know, I need to take control here, and I need to make sure that I am taking care of you, your health, your body athletically, but we also need to make sure that we're going to give this team the best possible position to win, because obviously we can see Barry is not mailing it in and saying we just got an 8-0 defeat by the run-ahead rule. Let's pack it up and go back to Miami. They're here as though this is the first game of this series.
All right, the 1-2, little flare, shallow left, making it look easy as Stephanie Balmer at short, 2 outs. And I agree with what you're saying. I do expect that move to come at a certain point. The only question is, how much does McKaylee Dooley have left?
Well, we also talked about back in the first inning when the Spartans stranded a runner on third base, and I said let's make a mental note of that in case it becomes a factor. So now let's talk about the same thing for Barry, because here you are finally with a valuable runner in scoring position, and they need to move her up, if not convert her into making this a tie game.
As we look at the pitch count for Dooley now at 44, and if you want to factor in what Bruce was saying about the past 24 hours, now you're nearing the 180 pitch mark. But for anyone just looking in as that one's foul out of play, McKaylee Dooley is showing no signs of slowing down. She is still dealing that fastball and mixing in the secondary pitches in very nicely. Give a big shout out to Laura, bringing the water in here, keeping the press box hydrated. Real MVP, of course.
Andrea Johnson staying alive here in the top of the 4th inning. 2 down, and
that pitch just missed.
Show some real patience and discipline there to watch that one go by. Tip my cap to Andrea Johnson.
Yeah, it's 2-2 with 2 outs, and Bruce, this is an important part of the game. Let's see who wins the battle. It'll continue 3-2.
Huge part of the game, because my eyes are focused on that runner at second base. And Barry, as I said, has really got to move her along. It's going to be a real disappointment if they leave her stranded.
Ace first cleanup hitter. Full count, 2 outs. And Johnson with the ground ball. They're sending home Duncan, and he will score. Trying to go to second is Johnson. She's out. So it's a single that will score. Duncan tie the game, trying to advance to second, but to no avail is Andrea Johnson. Nice heads-up play that time by Maddie Farrell to have the awareness to throw up the line.
I'm going to disagree with the decision to try to stretch it to second base. It's a little too aggressive. They got the run that they needed to tie the game, and I know that runs are hard to come by against Tampa, so you're trying to scratch and claw and manufacture any way you can, but at the same time, that just ended the inning. You could have kept things going, would have had another runner on base, meaning at first. They did get the game tied, which is a shot in the arm, but at the same time, they could have still been batting, and instead, we're now through 3.5.
No doubt about it. I think Andrea Johnson was so confused because she thought there was going to be a play at the plate. However, Duncan scored relatively easily, and Reyes' throw was well up the line on the throw. So as a result, it was just Maddie Farrell making a play to get Johnson at second.
Sailport Waterfront Suites is Tampa's only all-waterfront, all-suite resort. Located on beautiful Rocky Point Island, just minutes from UT, Sailport is a refreshing alternative to typical box hotels with its spacious rooms and waterfront relaxation. Sailport Waterfront Suites is an official partner of UT Athletics.
So we got a ball game here as first baseman Emily Jansen will bat for the Spartans. Bottom of the 4th inning. And so far, we were wondering what kind of game this would be. It has been a pitcher's duel, but both teams have strung together 2 hits, and this game far from over.
Well, and I think if you're Leslie Cantor, you're looking at your dugout with your arms out to the sides and saying, okay, so we've got ourselves a game here.
First pitch from Valley, up and in to Jansen, 1-0. And Bruce, I'm looking at the Spartan bullpen as Jansen goes opposite field with a base hit to right field. I do see Corinne Miner throwing some pitches, so to continue off of what you were saying with Dooley potentially her run in the circle coming to an end, that just might be another contribution there with Miner getting ready.
Well, when you mention how high her pitch count has gotten, that's certainly going to become a factor as well when you have to make that decision as the coach. Do we give her the hook or not?
Squaring the bunt is Reyes, gets it down beautifully, and Randazzo throws on over to Chisholm, second baseman who was covering on the wheel play as Jansen moves to second.
But boy, oh boy, Lauren Reyes just got that ball to absolutely die. It stopped on a dime in front of the batter's box, and the home plate umpire right on the spot to say it was fair and in play, but still plenty of time to scoop it up, send it down to first for the first out of the fourth inning.
And now Stephanie Balmer up to bat. Fouls the first pitch off. Valley has been working quickly. Only her 38th pitch coming forward here in the bottom of the fourth. Misses outside.
Quite a curve on that one.
Yeah, that was a cut fastball almost that got the outside part of the plate. Off speed, misses high.
A player like Balmer stands out in a game like this when you're talking about senior day, and then I mentioned the 5 juniors. And all of a sudden she's a freshman coming up here in a time when her team has given up a run, finds themselves tied. And, you know, there's also a voice in the back of their heads that says, we want to keep this winning streak alive.
Yeah, fun to say. You've won, it's incredible, 17 games now, maybe 18? Just continues to pile on as Balmer took that one for a ride. Just fouled down the left field line. 2-2, 1 out, bottom of the fourth, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, and of course no one's going to say that out loud, but, you know, that athletic pride is going to have its effect on you when you say, I know that we've won 17 in a row, and whatever I can do to be the one to contribute to keeping it alive, I want to do that.
And the payoff, that one again ripped foul. And when I caught up with Coach Sean Cotter, he talked in depth about his team and their ability to win on the road and learning to win on the road. So here, season finale, you're in a one ball game at this point. Barry's in the position they want to be where they can continue to grow and figure out ways to win ball games away from home.
And those last two well-struck balls by Balmer, and there's another one. This one stays fair this time.
And trying to advance to third. Heads-up job that time by Jansen. And now all of a sudden, Bruce, there is some pressure on Randazzo behind home plate. We've seen numerous pitches get away from the backstop tonight, and better believe that Jansen will be looking to advance if anything gets away.
But I like the at-bat by Balmer. You know, she sent 2 well-hit balls down the line foul and didn't give up, stuck with it. That one stayed fair and was able to advance the runner over to third base now.
So Lauren Pasco drove in her first run of the season in the game earlier today. And what a time it would be if she could bring in her second as the Spartans tied up here. Swinging away, serves it right field. Making the play and concluding the bottom of the fourth inning. So the Spartans strand Jansen over there at third base. And we will go to the top of the fifth inning. Buccaneers and Spartans on TampaSpartans.tv.
For generations, Krispy Kreme has been serving delicious donuts and coffee. Stop by for an original glazed donut or other variety paired with a hot coffee. Visit the nearest Krispy Kreme on West Kennedy. Krispy Kreme serving hot donuts now.
And when looking at the statistical breakdown, both teams have 13 at-bats. Spartans with 3 hits, Buccaneers with 2. Spartans have worked 3 walks, none for Barry. And the one stat that stands out to me, both teams have a hit with runners in scoring position. However, Barry's only had 2 opportunities. The Spartans have already had 8. So the chances have been there. Just a matter of capitalizing. And worth noting, Dooley is still out there for the top of the 5th inning. We'll keep check on her pitch count. As we look leading off, it will be Peyton Rawls, Buccaneer third baseman.
Yeah, Rawls we saw as the starting pitcher for game 1 of the doubleheader.
So that was just the 50th pitch for Dooley. The 0-1. Big cut that time. 0-2.
Went fishing on that one.
And if you're Dooley right now, you're in the driver's seat. A lot of different options here. Can elect to try to get Rawls to chase, or can continue delivering, and misses a bit low that time.
Well, make no mistake, McKaylee Dooley wants to stay in there. She wants to get the complete game on her record, and so she's probably just challenging herself to be even more productive.
Watch out, that one plunks Rawls, and the leadoff runner on base. So now what Dooley was hoping to do that time. As Ariana Diaz, North Bergen, New Jersey native.
Number 5, Ariana Diaz.
And Dooley obviously needs some run support from her teammates offensively, but she knows that she's potentially 9 outs away from a complete game. So she's going to push herself.
So it's 0-1 now. And you mentioned we have a lot on the line as Jansen and Worrell are in a few steps at the corners. The bunt is down. Wheel play on, and Clawberg catches the throw from Dooley. 1 out as Rawls advances to second.
Patty Corberry, number 17, Carlos Santiago.
I had almost wondered if on the prior play, if we would have seen a pinch runner, in the sense that there was the hit by pitch, and because Barry does have Lindsey Duncan with 11 stolen bases and just a whole bunch of players right behind her that are runners, you think of telling your player, I know the pitch didn't hit you that much, but let's just make sure you're all right. We've got plenty of people here that are happy to run for you. As a result, she's still in there, though. Peyton Rawls standing on second base.
Dooley's changeup on the money that time, and she's ahead 0-2. Misses low, 1-2. Top of the lineup coming up for Tampa in the bottom of the 5th. Chevalier, Clawberg, and Minor. Pop-up, does Farrell have a play? She does. Makes the catch.
You know, that's a routine play, but I think Maddie Farrell recognized the importance of it. As long as it stays in play, I need to get this because Barry's got another runner at second base again, and we're not used to seeing that in this series. So we know that they're going to do everything they can to try to convert. If I catch this ball, all of a sudden there's 2 outs.
So now a pivotal point in the game. Taylor Randazzo with 2 down. Rawls at second. 1-1 is the score here in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, I agree, Connor. Very pivotal part of the game here because Barry feels that now they know they can score against her. They've already done it in the last inning, and here's an opportunity in the top of the 5th to push another run across. We've got 2 hits in the game. We're starting to feel the blood flowing for sure.
The 1-1 from Dooley makes it 1-2 with the foul.
And Randazzo is going to stay alive as long as she can until she gets a pitch that she likes. Going to try to work this at bat to her advantage, even though she's behind in the count.
Shows bunt, pulls it back, cut on and miss. She gone. Kaylee Dooley is on fire, and now we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Spartans got the top of the lineup coming up against Gabby Valley.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for the Buccaneers to swallow, knowing that they were in a tie game, had a runner in scoring position, and couldn't convert. And on the flip side, the Spartans got to look at that as dodging a bullet and say, we need to pull our socks up a little bit here and put a little bit of a cushion on that scoreboard. Courtyard by Marriott, located at 3805 West Cypress in Tampa, is the official host hotel of the Spartans. When you visit, be sure to ask for the UT rate for huge savings. Courtyard by Marriott, simply refreshing.
I just want to say, I saw as Chevalier gets ready, she was having a conversation with Erica Matic, one of the fellow seniors, of course, injured with the thumb. And you could see Matic was giving her some advice on her swing, and it says a lot about Matic. Of course, out, she's injured. Not, of course, the senior day she had anticipated, but would have been very easy for her to kind of stay off and do her own thing. But no, she's out there. She's one of the Spartan leaders out there trying to motivate the team, very engaged in this game, trying to do her part to help the team win. Can't say enough about that.
Yeah, that's a mental part of the game to decide I'm not going to wallow in disappointment that I'm not out there on senior day and I'm not participating in the game. So you're right, hats off to her for saying I'm going to contribute in the way that I can despite not being able to be out there on the field.
And that's the beauty of sports. That's what we love to see. And let's see if Lexi Chevalier can break this one open for the Spartans. Mention, give credit when credit's due. Gabby Valley has done everything possible to keep Barry in this ball game, and her first pitch inside for a ball.
Valley's pitch count at 46.
Off the screen, 1-1.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you're a Buccaneers fan, that is, Randazzo didn't get the same luck that Maddie Farrow had behind the plate. That one wasn't able to be fielded.
Valley delivers right at the second baseman, so a hard out that time. Unfortunately for Lexi Chevalier, Chisholm was perfectly placed for a loud first out.
Yeah, as much as I was going to say that not being able to play that ball behind the plate was good news for Spartans fans. Just like that, a quick out on the next pitch.
Now Christina Clawberg at the plate. She had a double.
And speaking of unplayable balls in foul territory,
I've seen a lot of those today. So the at-bat continues. Mentioned that Clawberg 1 for 2 with a double today so far. Takes low, 1-1. Some light from the Spartans dugout. Can hear him from up here. Trying to motivate Clawberg as she's ahead 2-1.
Clawberg has one of the Spartans' 3 hits today, so you faced Valley last night, you faced her today, you know you can hit off of her. Just a matter of finding the right pitch.
Rolls over that one, and Santiago over to Diaz, and mentioned going other field. That was one. If Clawberg had just stayed with that pitch, hit to right field, might have had more success. Instead, Valley gets her to roll over to the left side. So 2 up, 2 down. And Corinne Miner, we'll say it again, she had that long drive off the top of the center field wall earlier in the middle of the game. Swinging away here, line drive, right at Colvin in left field. So a 1-2-3, bottom of the 5th inning for Gabby Valley.
And Corinne Miner, who we're still wondering if we're going to end up seeing in the pitching circle for UT before this game is over. But that inning is over, so through 5 complete, it's Tampa 1 and Barry 1. Pizza Hut is a proud supporter of UT Athletics. Call Pizza Hut today at 813-251-3399 to get your pizza delivered right to your doorstep. And I've been talking about the homestand that the Spartans have been on here playing against Barry, and of course the overall winning streak. But looking up ahead, the Spartan schedule will have a little bit of time off. They will be idle until Thursday, April 18th, a 7 p.m. home game against Palm Beach Atlantic. And then those same two teams will play a doubleheader the next day, Friday the 19th, with the first game starting at 2 o'clock before the Spartans close out the season by going on the road for games at St. Leo on the 25th and 26th.
And talking about how imperative it is with Sunshine State Conference play, only the champion makes it to regionals. Just moments ago, the first pitch in the Rollins-Florida Tech game. As that one, of course, Rollins, 14-4 on the season, but Florida Tech not too far behind. They're ranked 11th in the country as well, so be a big three games for the Tars and the Panthers.
An exciting time of the year.
All right, so it's Courtney Chisholm, freshman, southpaw, against McKaylee Dooley to lead things off in the 6th inning. First pitch misses, up and in, 1-0. And it's 2-0 now. So 65 pitches for Dooley thus far. Behind 2-0. Catches the strike zone that time.
Soon, Connor, this is going to become a game of McKaylee Dooley against herself.
As Chisholm grounds out to Balmer. And you are right, but fortunately for the Spartans, they have Corinne Miner, who has really blossomed of late into the second arm for the Spartans out of the pen.
But you know, it could almost be a secret weapon, because as Barry has built up a little bit of confidence in this game, here they find themselves all the way as far as the top of the 6th and tied 1-1. All of a sudden you throw a new pitcher at them. They've seen only McKaylee Dooley since pitch 1 of game 1 of this series last night. Now that changes everything.
That's a great point, and this might be the matchup of the day. This has been an exciting battle. Dooley and Duncan, two seniors. Only time we're going to be able to say that, of course, with Barry only having one senior. But for Lindsay Duncan, southpaw lefty, she's had a miraculous career, of course, in Gilbert, Arizona, and she's impressed nonetheless today.
But don't sell that proposed pitching change short, because as I said, it could become a case of, no, this I'm doing strategically. This has nothing to do with your performance and your perceived fatigue. This is completely to throw off the Buccaneers at this point.
Without a doubt, and here we go. 3-1 the count, so Duncan, we already know she runs well. Do not want to put her on. She was taking all the way right down the middle. Count moves full.
There's been some key moments, some key at-bats in this game. And this is a crucial one for Barry right here.
And this is going to be a looper. Oh, my, what a web gem by Corinne Miner. Showing off the leather, making a diving catch in center field.
Outstanding play. And give credit to Duncan. She gave that one a ride. She thought she found a place to drop it in. But to Corinne Miner's credit, wow. She was Joni on the spot and able to make a fantastic play there. As I was saying, it was a crucial time for Barry. That's a tough out, as there's now 2 away in the top of the 6th.
Corinne Miner with the play of the day so far. And when seeing highlights like that, it's amazing how more wrist injuries don't emerge, because Corinne, that time she had to dive and then kind of twirl on over to avoid any injury. Well done by the Spartan center fielder. And now Sam Worrell gets in the action, a hot shot right at her. And we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Spartans looking to take the lead. Worrell, Farrell, and Jansen coming up.
That third out, Worrell, she's had another one like that in this game. Good awareness and just always being ready, and gives her team an opportunity now to go into the bottom of the 6th and try to find that go-ahead run. Fans, are you thirsty? Grab a Pepsi. Pepsi has been bringing fun and refreshment to consumers for over 100 years.
Make another shout out. Pizza Hut always making it great. They keep our press box well fed.
And I'll tell you, for the first game having gotten moved up because of consideration last night that there was going to be some rain possibly today, not even close. 90 degrees presently, and not even a chance anywhere in the sky of any rain. Just been a beautiful afternoon here for Spartan softball.
And it says 90, but on the field it feels like 100. It is super hot outside right now, but that has not slowed the pitchers down from dealing. And this has been a fun game to watch. Gabby Valley and McKaylee Dooley, two pitchers giving both lineups everything they have to offer.
Yeah, it's almost an instant replay of last night's game, and the only difference is we've got 2 runs that have been scored in this game, but 1 for each team, as opposed to last night when we saw these same 2 pitchers duel. It was 2 runs for Tampa and none for the Buccaneers, so now we're in the bottom of the 6th, and it's fair to say it's anyone's game at this point.
Like you said, Bruce, crunch time here, bottom of the 6th inning. Sam Wall all over that pitch, yanks it foul. And if the Spartans able to get a run here, you look up, could be 3 outs away from a sweep potentially. So,
but in the Buccaneers dugout right now, I know that the mood has got to be, we are not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and they deserve a lot of credit. Obviously fell behind early in the second game, but they have not shown any signs of that. They have played a hard-fought game and proven they can play on the same field as the Spartans that they have right there.
The reason that you have to have that attitude, we are not out of this game, is because the perception could be it's been a long 17 hours, 18 hours, whatever it's been. They swept us the first 2 games. Heck, they won by way of the run-ahead rule in Game 2. You know, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop at any minute for Tampa to break things open offensively. And you sit there and tell yourselves, look, we've got 2 hits. They've only got 3. We've each got 1 run. This is anybody's game at this point. Why not ours?
As we see Wall ground out to Santiago and Matty Farrell. 1 down, nobody on.
Carry on. That's really great.
First pitch, serve foul. Giving it a look, but running out of room is Randazzo.
Matty Farrell 0 for 1 in this game. And just as qualified as anyone is give the Spartans offense a little shot in the arm.
Medium fly ball, left center field. Duncan's there for the second out.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, Connor, between the pitching that we've seen from Valley and Duncan's name being called a number of times, those 2 players really have stood out for me in the Buccaneers lineup this afternoon.
And when looking at Valley, only a freshman, she is certainly a pitcher to look out for years to come. Pitching at the high level right now already against a Spartan team, winners of 17 straight, has held them to 3 hits and only 1 run to show through 5 2/3 so far.
Interesting, too, that Gabby Valley's doing it right here in her hometown. She's from Tampa, attended Chamberlain High School, going to school collegiately down in Miami now.
And how about that for Emily Jansen? And this is going to be extra bases. Emily Jansen now at second with the 2-out double. And for Lauren Reyes, opportunity, can she maximize?
Yeah, for sure. Emily Jansen caught a break there. She thought that was going to be a single, and all of a sudden had to look twice and was waved around and realized I'm going to go into second standing up here. And so all of a sudden the Spartans have themselves with a runner in scoring position, albeit with 2 outs. But they only need 1 at this point, and then rely on Dooley to shut it down in the top of the 7th if they're going to escape with a sweep of this series.
Coach Leslie Cantor goes to the bench. Bailey Phillips will be the pinch hitter. saw Bailey good amount as the designated player in this series. Of course, Chevalier gets that responsibility, but you were saying earlier, Bruce, about as a bench player having to always be ready because you never know when your numbers can be called on. And in an opportunity like this, Bailey Phillips able to get a base hit here could go a long way.
Well, and I know I'm doing a little bit of dreaming here, but you've been itching to get that home run call, and the Spartans have hit 10 this season. Bailey Phillips does have one of those 10. Anything is possible.
The 0-1. Phillips all over it. Left field line foul, and Valley now up 0-2.
She's seen a good deal of action here in this 2019 season. Putting her in here in a crucial moment as the Spartans trying to break open this tie.
Goes with the off speed, nowhere close, 1-2.
UT took the lead in the bottom of the third, and then half inning later, the Buccaneers tied it, and we've been scoreless ever since.
And the payoff from Valley. Phillips gets a piece to stay alive. There's a Corinne Miner single in the bottom of the third, and then Andrea Johnson with the single that just got through the left side has been the scoring thus far. But Phillips looking to change all of that. The 1-2 got under it and looks to be a play for the Buccaneers, and it's Randazzo coming down with it. And we move to the 7th inning. Getting good here in Namoli. 1-1 the score.
Did you know that our team has its own official orthopedic physicians? Let's give a big shout out to Dr. Seth Gasser and the Florida Orthopedic Institute and their sports medicine team for keeping our players safe and providing athletic training services and medical care to UT student athletes. Connor, I loved the look on the face of Randazzo after she made that catch, as if to say, OMG.
Yeah, there was 3 Buccaneers there. It was Valley.
Yeah.
It was, as you mentioned, Randazzo, and there was also the third baseman Rawls. And to your point, initially none of the 3 looked to really want it. Eventually Randazzo takes charge. Wasn't the prettiest catch, but she made the catch.
Someone has to have the loudest and the most confident voice at that point to call off their teammates and say, honestly, I really do have this one. Please back off. We need this.
With how this series has gone, does not have to be flashy, just need to make the play. And what a catch. We move to the 7th inning, and how about this? Guess who's still in the circle? That's right, McKaylee Dooley, unstoppable right now. You can tell that she's definitely having some authority in terms of going into the dugout with 75 pitches, telling Coach Leslie Cantor, Coach, I got this. And the first pitch is served to Corinne Miner, and Berlin Colvin is retired, 1 pitch, 1 out.
And if she had her phone with her, I think McKaylee Dooley would be texting Corinne Miner saying, thank you, because you're making less work for me when you make a catch like that on the first pitch of the inning.
Now batting number 4, Andrea Johnson.
And this just sounds incredible, but if McKaylee Dooley is able to go a complete game, that will be her 20th on the season. Most players strive for 20 wins. She's already done that. 20 complete games. Incredible.
Of course, the Buccaneers fans would love to have their team have something to say about that, as there's 1 down here in the top of the 7th. And their team scratching and clawing to stay alive.
Yeah, the resiliency by the Buccaneers, they have been very impressive. And Brian Serafin with the emphatic punch-out, and that has just been McKaylee Dooley. Her calling card all series, gets another strikeout. And with 2 outs now, Peyton Rawls, third baseman, up at the dish.
And by the way, if you are a Buccaneers fan, your team's next game comes your way on Friday night. That's April 12th, the 7 p.m. game at St. Leo. And then those 2 teams will go at it in a doubleheader a week from today, with the first game at 1 p.m.
Dooley's 0-1. Big time swing there by Rawls to no avail. And it's an 0-2 count with 2 outs. And the pitch. In there for a strike. And McKaylee Dooley continues with her success in the circle. And let's see, for the Spartans, it's Balmer, Pasco, Chevalier, 8-9-1, looking to walk it off.
Yeah, and Kaylee Dooley helping her own cause there. She really made short work of the Buccaneers in the top of the 7th inning. Offering business travelers high levels of comfort, service, and amenities, visit Crown Plaza Hotels and Resorts. Crown Plaza, the place to meet.
All right, so we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Some drama now at Namoli's Family Stadium. And it will be Stephanie Balmer to lead things off. See what the Spartans can do. Both teams have had 20 at-bats, 4 hits for the Spartans, 2 for the Buccaneers. 6 strikeouts for Dooley. Amazingly, Gabby Valley has been so effective, Bruce, through 6 innings, 1 run. Hasn't struck out a Spartan yet, but her ability to pitch to contact and pitch to contact well has kept her and her team very much in this game.
Yeah, and I've been trying to give her credit. She does deserve lots of credit, both for what she's done here this afternoon and the way that she kept her team hanging around last night in that 2-0 defeat.
And the pitch. Fastball, bottom part of the strike zone to Steph Balmer. And the 0-1. Quickly 0-2. And the 0-2. Make it 1-2. Defense playing back for Balmer. Cut on and miss. So I mentioned before, no strikeouts for Valley. I think she might have heard me. There's her first of the game.
And obviously a very frustrating moment for Stephanie Balmer. Tough at-bat for her. And as we roll to the number 9 hitter, Lauren Pasco. Pasco 0 for 1 in this game.
The senior trying to break through on senior day.
Way outside.
And we notice Lexi Chevalier, leadoff hitter on deck. 1-1, 1 out. 1-1 the score. Looking to bunt for a hit is Pasco, and right there Valley, 2 up, 2 down.
So if they're going to avoid extra innings, Lexi Chevalier is either going to have to do it on her own or at least get herself on base.
So now 75 pitches for Valley through 6 2/3. Skips it to Chevalier, 1-0. Serve, right field shallow. Going to be a tough play. Oh my! Savannah Starling going all out. And that's a heck of a play. And on that note, Bruce, we're going to have some free softball. We go to the 8th inning.
Fantastic catch there by Savannah Starling. And we'll see the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for Barry starting off the top of the 8th as we're 1-1 through regulation. The official chariot of the Spartans is Mart's first-class coach. If you need to charter a bus, go online, to martzfirst.com. That's Martz with a Z, M-A-R-T-Z, martzfirst.com. And I mentioned previously that the Spartans are no strangers to extra inning games, having had to beat Embry-Riddle here last week Friday 5-4, which was a 9-inning game. And they also had a 13-inning affair on the 9th of March, a 4-3 victory against Florida Tech. That was the second win in this what is currently a 17-game winning streak.
And what was most impressive about that game against Florida Tech, they were trailing by 2. Sam Worrell had, of course, RBI, walk-off, 2-run single. And hopefully we don't go to 13 innings, but you never know with the likes of how Valley and Dooley have been pitching. It is Dooley still out there for the 8th inning. Let's see which team will budge first. As a swing and a miss by Diaz. Beautiful change-up, 0-2 the count.
Diaz 0 for 1 in this game, and behind right now 0-2.
Cut on and miss. McKaylee Dooley going right at Diaz. Dooley wins the battle.
So that'll bring up Carla Santiago, who is 0 for 2.
See what she's got here against McKaylee. There's a base hit in the left field, the third of the day for the Buccaneers.
Santiago setting things up nicely here with only one away in the top of the 8th, as she sees her teammate Taylor Randazzo stroll to the plate. Randazzo 0 for 2 thus far in the second game of the doubleheader.
Showing bunts, gets it down, and Dooley has only to go to Clawberg at first, so moving to second. And now an opportunity here. See what Courtney Chisholm can do, the runner in scoring position.
Yeah, and when she fielded that one, McKaylee Dooley, you could see for a fraction of a second she thought about the fact that a runner is about to get to second base and knew that she wasn't going to have the play. So she says, I'll live with it because now there's 2 outs.
Yeah, made the smart decision, as you said, tempted to go to second, but would not have had much of a play. And of course, you don't want to have 2 on with only 1 out. Much more doable situation, 0-1 on Chisholm. Punched to Ballmer over at short. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Clawberg, Miner, and Worrell. Do the Spartans have some magic in them?
Stephanie Ballmer, very heads-up play there. She was at the ready in the shortstop position. And so after 7.5, we're in the same place that we were after 3.5. The team's tied at 1-1. The Barnes & Noble bookstore has all your needs in one spot. Stop by and grab the latest UT gear, snacks on the run, as well as thousands of accessories for everyday needs. Open Monday through Saturday, located on the first floor of the Vaughn Center, or shop online at utampa.bncollege.com.
And Bruce, we were joking earlier about if this pitching matchup between Valley and Dooley would be similar to last night, and the answer is yes. Pretty much the offense has disappeared over these last few innings. And at this point, Spartans got the heart of the lineup coming up, so they got the bats they want to have, but will not be easy against Valley, who has settled in nicely here and has been effective against Tampa.
But at the same time, they've got their 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up, and the second and third, being Clawberg and Miner, they have combined for 2 of Tampa's 4 hits. So as you say, those are certainly the hitters that you want coming up in this position, as they just need 1 run to win it.
So here we go, Christina Clawberg. Valley ready, Clawberg ready, and the first pitch of the bottom of the 8th inning just misses outside, ball 1. And that one served center field, taking a couple steps back, making the play, Lindsey Duncan. And now Corinne Miner.
Heading the Spartans, number 22, Corinne Miner.
So if Miner able to get a hold of anything, has shown the pop.
Miner had the nice catch in the outfield, and she'd love to do something offensively now. She did have an RBI single back in the 3rd.
That's going to be a tough play, tailing down the right field line, making the turn, digging for 2, and making it is Corinne Miner. And all of a sudden, the Spartans got something doing here with Sam Waller coming to bat 1 down, Miner at second.
And of course, the optimist would argue that Sam Worrell is 0 for 3, which means that she's due.
Yeah. And Sam Worrell is familiar with the walk-off. Of course, you mentioned had that in the 13-inning ball game against Florida Tech. So let's see if Sam Worrell, she's known to come up clutch in crunch time. Swinging away, out of play, ball for a strike.
That one goes bouncing into the parking lot.
Pedestrians be mindful of Sam Wall up at the plate, as it's 1-1 now.
And at the very least, they certainly would love to get Corinne Miner over to 3rd.
And that one sent, again, foul towards the Spartan bullpen. So it's a 1-2 count now, and Valley has not accumulated many strikeouts, but obviously love one here.
Yeah, she would, because it's not going to get any easier with Maddie Farrell in the on-deck circle.
2-2 the count. Now there is first base open, but you do not want to play around in that area and put runners on base, as it's 2-2. And Wall hanging tough, fouling off another pitch.
I was about to say that she's feeling generous and providing lots of souvenirs for anyone outside the stadium, but that one ended up coming back down.
And I think Wall might have gotten Randazzo with...
I think she felt or heard the whir of the bat and the warm-up swing. So that's a little too close for comfort.
Bit of a wake-up call there as Wall now moves full, 3-2 the count. Thanks again for joining us. This game is not disappointed. Nail-biter, 1-1. Bottom of the 8th. Spartans looking to do some damage. And Wall skies it. And that's going to be off the screen. Those pop-ups, you have to look at the screen, because for those unfamiliar, bit of an unorthodox setup here, but all in part to keep the spectators safe, which is, of course, in huge importance.
Really pivotal moment here, because you're looking at, as you mentioned, first base being open, could all of a sudden have a runner on it if she throws ball 4, as you see yet another pitch fouled down into the Spartans bullpen.
And you see some fans there having to run away as Sam Wall crushed that one, but notice she's been on top of all these pitches. Just a tad bit early on the swing has resulted in her hooking it down the left field line foul. And
there it is,
after all that, she works a walk. Yeah, that's just tough hitting right there, because foul. Oh, okay, you're going to throw it outside the zone. I'll take it. And now 2-1 for Maddie Farrell. And Maddie Farrell, arguably the Spartans' hottest hitter of late, entered the series the only batter above 300. has been making tremendous contact. Takes inside.
I think when Worrell took that walk, Maddie Farrell kind of looked down at her at first base and said, "Thank you very much," and looked at Valley and said, "And thank you too."
And Maddie Farrell in the zone, ahead 1-0, chops it down the third baseline foul.
And this, Connor, is where you hope, if you're the Buccaneers coaching staff, you hope that your players have all those errors out of their system, because this is a very tense moment here playing against a red-hot Tampa Spartans team. You don't want jitters to be what ends up being the difference.
And Farrell gets under it in the infield, and coming on strong to make the play is Chisholm. So 2 outs now.
But I'll tell you what, that looked like at the last minute that there was something that changed, because Valley was under that one and looked like she was fully intent on making the catch. And for whatever reason, at the last minute, something changed that instead she stepped aside and let Kleinfelter make the catch.
Jansen takes outside. We'll look to play some hero ball for the Spartans. Base hit would more than likely conclude the ball game with Corinne Miner, who runs very well over at second.
Excuse me, I said Kleinfelter. I meant Chisholm 30 and not 10.
So it's 2-0 now, and for Valley, just missed on those 2 pitches. First one outside, came inside with that one, but hitters count for Jansen. The 2-0. Make it 3-0. So we look now on deck, and taking a look over there, we do see potential Lauren Reyes, who's pinch hit for Phillips in her last at-bat, but might get the call. And Jansen thought it was ball 4. Seraphin disagrees. It's 3-1.
Yeah, Jansen ready to toss the bat. Umpire says not just yet, at least.
Jansen, flare, center field, Duncan. And we move to the 9th inning. Coming up for the Buccaneers, it's 1-2-3. Duncan, Starling, and Colvin.
And now let's talk about stranding runners again, which we not only saw there, but again, if you think all the way back to the first inning with the Spartan base runner that was left on at third, that's just something that you can't have when the game ends up being 1-1 going into what is now the 9th inning. Walters Press Box on Southdale Mabry is Tampa's original sports emporium and eatery, serving for over 20 years. The Press Box is Tampa's favorite place to watch the big game. The Press Box, located at 222 South Dale Mabry.
And I love the competitiveness of Michaela Dooley, her desire to win, everything about her mentality. She wants to be out there. Notice her in the dugout that time, telling Coach Leslie Ganner, "I'm going out, Coach. This is my senior day. I know we're in the 9th inning. I know I've thrown a couple hundred pitches over the last 24 hours. She wants to be in this moment, and gotta love to see it for the senior sensation as we have a meeting in the circle for the Spartan infield. Be a tough at-bat here as Lindsey Duncan, 1 for 3 thus far in the game.
Batting for carry number 3, Lindsey Duncan.
88th pitch coming up for Dooley. Duncan swinging away, and Wall makes the catch right around the third base bag. So now Savannah Starling, the right fielder. Already saw a web gem from her defensively today. First pitch, just fouled down the third baseline. Seven, 8, 9 for the Spartans in the bottom of the 9th inning. Reyes, Balmer, and Pasco.
And congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning, who won this afternoon and tied the all-time record for most wins in one season by an NHL team with 62.
Yeah, that's a championship caliber team playing over at Amalie Arena without a doubt. Going to be fun to see them play in the postseason. But Michaela Dooley ahead 0-2, looking for potentially her 9th strikeout of the game. And just getting a foul piece to stay alive is Starling.
And this, Connor, you see Starling reaching for that pitch. You do have to worry if you're the coach about having such a young lineup and the tendency to say, well, I can just win this game with one swing of the bat, which doesn't necessarily need to be the case.
Punch to Balmer. What a play by Stephanie Balmer on the short hop, and the ability to keep her body in that position where she was able to make the pick and get the quick release to relay it over to Jansen to get the speedy Savannah Starling 2 down.
Yeah, solid defensive play for sure.
All right, and now we got Berlin Colvin, southpaw up with 2 outs. Swinging away, fouls off the first pitch. The 0-1 from Dooley. Chopped on over. Clawberg makes the play. And it's a 1-2-3. Top of the 9th inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Bottom of the order coming up for the Spartans.
A lot more routine play that time instead of the tremendous play we saw from Balmer for the second out. The Spartans will take him any way they can get him. Now they just need to find a way to scratch out a run.
And well, we look for Gabby Valley, and she has been something in her own right. 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run. It was not earned, so she has pitched, Bruce, 15 innings this series and has not surrendered an earned run. So that speaks a lot about what kind of pitcher she is, and only a freshman. We'll say that again, only a freshman. So bright future for this Buccaneer pitcher.
For sure. Connected via Skybridge to the Tampa Convention Center, Embassy Suites offers a convenient location close to dining and entertainment in downtown Tampa. Located just a few blocks from campus, come stay in luxury at 513 South Florida Avenue in Tampa.
So here we go, Lauren Reyes against Gabby Valley, bottom of the 9th inning.
For your Spartans, number 17,
Reyes walked back in the 2nd inning, and then a sacrifice in the 4th. Hoping to break through here in the bottom of the 9th as we are in extra innings.
And the pitch from Valley. Inside corner, strike 1. The 0-1. Back-to-back strikes from Valley down the heart of the plate.
I'll tell you, Connor, that's one of the difficult things, is knowing that I don't have to win it with one swing of the bat, is buying into the team concept, just being patient and saying, I've done something if I get on base. It's not what I want to do, which is win the game for my team with one swing of the bat, but I've contributed.
Especially here in the bottom of the lineup. Spartans just need to get a runner or 2 on, give themselves a chance. As it's 1-2 now, and Valley fires well outside, 2-2.
Yeah, because eventually the Spartans are going to say, she is just a freshman. Why can't we beat her?
And we are approaching now 100 pitches for Gabby Valley. The 2-2. Sky high pop-up. No problem for Valley.
Yeah, that time Valley called for it and wasn't going to change her mind, unlike before when Chisholm came in at the last minute and grabbed the pop-up instead. That was hers all the way, and so Valley helps her own cause with that catch, as it is now 1 away in the bottom of the 9th.
Stephanie Balmer takes the first pitch upstairs, ball 1. Lauren Pascoe is on deck.
A lanky Stephanie Balmer 5'10".
Two-0 count. Make it 2-1. And that was a tough pitch to hit. Low, outside corner, just clips. Like that take that time by Ballmer. That's not a pitch you want to hit in a 2-0 count. That's a better one. In the left center field gap. That's a base hit. Ballmer thinking too. Running hard. She makes it in. And how about that? Ballmer, from our vantage point, it did not look like it was going to be an easy double, but she was just running around those base paths, running hard, and she made it with a slide in the second.
Well, I think there were some anxious moments all the way around on that one, because just when the Spartans start to exhale and say, great, we're going to get a base runner, all of a sudden you're biting your nails and saying, or are we? And lo and behold, there she is, standing up on second base. So some encouragement here, some hope for UT.
And now, look at this. Runner on second, Lauren Pasco, one of the 5 seniors. What more can you ask for than a chance here to walk it off on your senior day? Gets the chance here with 1 down, bottom of the 9th inning. Spartans knocking on the door. Watch out, that one clobbered down the third baseline foul. One out. One's on the scoreboard.
I haven't said it the entire game, but all righty hitters. You know, Valley has seen the same players. She's seen all righties. She's really found her groove. She has the confidence from last night. There's really not a whole lot that seems to have shaken her, which is really impressive for only being a freshman.
Good eye that time by Pasco. 2-2 the count. Let's see what is on deck here. Crowd on the edge of their seat as it's a full count.
And this is always such a dramatic moment in softball and baseball, college, pro, I don't care who you are, the Olympics. A full count, you got the potential winning run on second.
Left field, Colvin makes the catch, and staying put at second is Ballmer, 2 down. For Lexi Chevalier, designated player for this game.
But again, you throw out what I said before, that you got Chevalier strolling to the plate 0 for 4, but someone could always make the argument that means that she's due. I'll tell you what, for Ballmer over at second base, she's biting her nails too.
In the right field and making the running catch is Starling, and we will move to the 10th inning of play. Buccaneers, Spartans in a pitching duel.
You got out of a jam there, did Barry, with, as I mentioned, what would have been the winning run standing on second base, but unfortunately, again, that conversation about stranding runners, and you don't want to strand a runner when you're in extra innings and you're the home team with the potential last at bat. So instead, we'll go to the top of the 10th now, tied 1-1. Your trusted Tampa Subaru dealer is Mastro Subaru, located at 6402 West Hillsborough Avenue. Customers can view their huge Subaru inventory as well as receive full service maintenance on vehicles. As a Spartan sponsor, watch for Mastro's UT staff and student service specials. At Mastro Subaru, their slogan is, "Our reputation rides with you."
And should we be surprised that Michaela Dewey is still out there for the 10th inning at this point? I mean, holy
I don't
cow.
think so now, because before, when I was forecasting, there was a good justification strategically to change pitchers. I think now that's gone out the windows. Once you reach to the end of regulation, now you have to stick with her unless there's something that happens dramatically that says, okay, clearly we need to make a change. Otherwise, no surprise at all to still see her out there. Although you do have to notice, you were saying that Valley was hitting the 100 pitch count mark, and Dooley comes into this inning at 94. Although very quickly she gets out number 1 there.
Yeah, that will help. 1 pitch, 1 out, and talk about communication, how key it is. And for a second there, Wall and Farrell weren't quite on the same page until Farrell takes charge very last second to make the catch.
There's an element of it where, like a goaltender in hockey, this crease, this is my area. And for Maddie Farrell, that's hers. And until she surrenders that and says, go ahead, you got it, you got to defer to the catcher that she's going to make the play, because she's used to making so many of them behind home plate, as we've seen when they're not in play, meaning that they're fair to catch because the netting is not a factor.
All's well that ends well, as it's 0-2 now on Randazzo with 1 out. As we look ahead on deck, we see it is Rawls at the plate now.
And Peyton Rawls came way out of the batter's box after that one. She wants an extra second to think about this behind 0-2.
1-2 count on Peyton Rawls, Buccaneer third baseman. And the 1-2, cut on and missed. The 9th strikeout for Dooley. And it feels like we just said it, Bruce, but due up for the Spartans in the bottom of the inning. Clawberg, Minor, Wall, 2-3-4 for another chance to possibly walk it off.
Yeah, and obviously Ariana Diaz wants to have something to say about it. Doesn't look like she's going to, however, is again on a first pitch. So, we've said it before, Michaela Dooley being very efficient with her pitches, even if it is giving the hitter something that they can put the ball on, that results in a very quick put out by Tampa Bay defensively.
And we haven't spoken a great deal about it, but another part of the pitching position is playing defense. And Michaela Dooley is not just a pitcher. She is able to fill her position extremely well. Saw it on display there as Diaz tried to bunt for a hit. Dooley took charge, made the throw, strong play. And now the Spartans with yet another opportunity to maybe break through.
Yeah, Tampa coming to bat in the bottom of the 10th. And a 1-1 game. They have 6 hits to just 3 for Barry. But obviously, if you could handpick what part of the lineup you'd want to be in this situation, this is it. With, as Connor mentioned, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters scheduled to come up between Clawberg and Minor. They have combined for 3 of Tampa's 6 hits in this game.
And it's really unfortunate that one of these pitchers has to take the loss, because both of them have pitched superb ball games all around, and it has been a clinic in the circle for both Gabby Valley and Michaela Dooley. We still have to declare a winner. Let's see if we will do so in the bottom of the 10th inning. Christina Clawberg will lead us off.
Okay, Dan, I like keeping this at a week.
Pitch number 115 for Gabby Valley. This is her ball game, so throw the numbers out the window and just let her pitch. 1-0 on Clawberg. Inside corner, 1-1.
Clawberg a double back in the first. Reached on an error in the third. Shot out in the fifth and flew out in the eighth, and now flies out here in the 10th.
As Savannah Starling makes the running catch for the first out. And now Corinne Minor. And like you've been saying, Bruce, it just takes one swing of the bat to change this game dramatically. And with Minor and Worrell, as Minor flares one right center field, and there will be a hug between Duncan and Starling. It is Starling who makes the catch, but was not.
Well, I'm sure that as much as the Spartans would love to win it in dramatic fashion on a home run, I think with one swing of the bat could mean getting a runner into scoring position. So a nice double, obviously a triple.
Yeah, and to follow up on that, who knows what could have ensued if that ball had fallen with, of course, Minor running hard. She was already around second base. That ball dropped. She very well could have been at least third. Worrell clangs that one off the fence.
Yeah, it's foul for the souvenir collectors to gather outside the stadium again as Worrell.
And it's that one side. It's that left side with the Spartan bullpen you have to be mindful of when Sam Worrell is up at the plate. That's a high fly ball left field. Colvin ranges over, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 10th. We head to the 11th on TampaSpartans.tv. 7-8-9 Santiago, Randazzo, and Chisholm for the Buccaneers.
Well, and at this point, it's a case of making up for the innings that they didn't get to play in the first game of the doubleheader, which was shortened by the run-ahead rule. That one went 4.5. So now we head to the top of the 11th. And it's been all goose eggs since Barry put up their only run of the game in the top of the 4th after the Spartans had opened the scoring with their only run in the bottom of the 3rd. And the two teams have combined for 9 hits.
Well, let's see. Yes, it is. McKaylee Dewey right back out there.
Now, she took her time, though, this time getting out onto the field. Maybe just a little bit of extra rest, maybe 1 or 2 more sips of water or sports drink after what's been some long games in terms of 3 combined in maybe the space of what's going on about 21 hours.
Yeah, and for those of you still with us, thanks so much for joining us. If you like watching pitching and softball, could not have come to a better place as Valley and Dewey have been going toe-to-toe, and it has been a joy to watch.
Makes you wonder what the first game of the doubleheader would have looked like today had they tried to do with Valley what they're doing with Dooley.
And the first pitch, Balmer going back, makes the play. Carlos Santiago retired.
Because that game earlier today looked nothing at all like last night's or this current game that we're in. And hindsight's 20/20, and of course, you do have to manage your pitchers as it relates to playing 3 games in less than 24 hours.
And the first pitch from Dooley, swung on and missed by Randazzo. Foul was okay. That one ricocheted off her. I believe it hit her in the mask. It's 0-1. Showing bunt, Randazzo pulls it back and takes one for a strike. 0-2. And the 0-2 from Dooley, cut on and missed. She gone. 10th strikeout for the senior, McKaylee Dooley.
Randazzo, very frustrating at bat. As the number 9 hitter now, Courtney Chisholm, will come to the plate. 0 for 3 in this game 2 of the doubleheader.
Then the pitch for a strike on the outside corner. The 0-1 from Dooley. Poked foul.
Courtney Chisholm popped out in the 3rd inning and a ground out in the 6th and a line out in the 8th, and hitting now with 2 outs in the top of the 11th.
And the 0-2. Little tapper, third base, quick fire. Royal gets the speedy Chisholm, and it's a 1-2-3, top of the 11th. And this game continues.
I love the hustle by Courtney Chisholm on that one, though. It's the 11th inning. It's the third game in less than 24 hours, and she's running top speed. Full marks for the effort there, even though she was out.
Yeah, this has been a very fun ball game, and we're still not finished yet. And get the mentality as we see the Spartans now in a bit of a huddle here. It's Coach Leslie Cantor just urging her team, stay with it, fight it off. Of course, they've done such a great job. Just need one run. That's all we need to get. And like you've been saying all game long, you get that lead runner on base, put pressure on the defense, see what happens.
This is the second longest game of the season for UT in terms of number of innings. And as they get ready to start the bottom of the 11th. Maddie Farrell will start things off for UT. 4 plate appearances today. She's 0 for 3. She started off with a walk back in the second and then popped out in the third and the 8th. In between that, she flew out in the 6th inning.
And I think the ideal situation if you're a Tampa fan, get Farrell on base, maybe get a pinch runner with Allen, Taphouse on base, apply some pressure with the speed, and then with the likes of Jansen, 2 for 3 today, give her an opportunity to cash in and go from there.
Number 54, Maddie Farrell.
Pitch number 120 coming forward for Gabby Valley has not slowed her down at all as Farrell crushes one. Nice play. Rolls at the hot corner. Strong throw across the diamond to Diaz. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And because Valley has thrown so many pitches, she's really happy to see that at bat end so quickly, although a very formidable foe now as Jansen strolls to the plate. Connor, as you mentioned, being 2 for 3 so far in this game.
Make it 3 for 4 as Emily Jansen having herself a day, and the Spartans collecting their 7th hit. All right, so the Spartans got something going now. What can Lauren Reyes do?
Lauren Reyes, her 4th plate appearance today, although officially 0 for 1, being that she walked in the 2nd and then a sacrifice in the 4th.
Shows bunt that time, and I think if she can get the bunt down, advance Jansen, give Balmer an opportunity where you get a base hit, could send everybody home happy here in Imole.
Well, Jansen had a big jump on that one. She was ready to go. And again, and I'll tell you what, if you're Randazzo, you need to keep an eye down at first base because there might be an opportunity there with Jansen jumping the way she is.
All right, here we go. 1-1, 1 out. Bottom of the 11th.
As if fatigue is a factor, you may catch Jansen off base unprepared.
Do you guys have any extra pizza?
Got a 2-1 count. Reyes gets the bunt down. It's a good one. And that does the job as moving to second is Emily Jansen.
Yeah, it accomplished exactly what she wanted it to, which is getting the runner up. So now they've got someone in scoring position. The bad news, however, is that there's 2 outs. So Balmer is going to have to do something significant here. Otherwise, we're going to turn over to 12 innings. And again, you can't be stranding these base runners the way Tampa has been today.
First pitch inside for a ball. And like you said, anything that leaves the infield with Jansen running hard could very well be the ball game.
As long as it's not a fly ball.
Yes. Let's see what we can do. As that one chopped just foul, 1-1. And the crowd on the edge of their seat. Be the 125th pitch for Valley. Balmer doubled in her last at-bat. The 1-1 from Valley. That one is hit. It's going to be a base hit. They're sending home Jansen. This could be the game, and it is. And the Spartans get the sweep, and they win 2-1. Stephanie Balmer walks it off. How about that? Tampa gets the victory.
And give lots of credit to Jansen, because not only did she finish the game 3 for 4, but she just had the wheels. I kept talking about when she was at first, the jump that she continued to have. And so at second base, as soon as she saw that that ball was going to the outfield, she was just off to the races. And really not a very close play at home. It was just a matter of her having the speed and being the winning run as the Spartans win it 2-1 in the bottom of the 11th inning.
And the Spartans extend their winning streak to 18 games. They are 28-9 on the season, 18-6 in Sunshine State Conference play. And the Barry Buccaneers, 6-15 in league play, 13-31 overall. But they put quite the performance. They gave Tampa a run for their money, gave them everything they had, and fought to the finish.
Well, and I'll tell you made the point before. What a shame it is that one of these pitchers has to end up losing. Gabby Valley, 127 pitches, and comes out on the wrong end of a 2-1 score. But give her lots of credit. Last night she kept her team in a 2-0 game. Here it ends up being 2-1. A real workhorse. She goes the distance, as does McKaylee Dooley. And as you say, the future is bright for Barry as it relates to having her on their staff, only a freshman. But the Spartans sending the home crowd happy as they pull out in the bottom of the 11th inning a dramatic win and sweep the Buccaneers in the 3-game series.
I mentioned tough luck loss for Valley. She pitched 17 2/3 innings over this series, only allowed 1 earned run, and somehow gets 2 losses as a result. That's just tough luck because Gabby Valley, she pitched her best ball and gave everything she had. What a terrific performance.
And amazingly, she only had 1 strikeout that game. So, you know, everybody loves talking about strikeouts, and they love seeing pitchers rack up double digits. McKaylee Dooley, on the flip side, had 10 of them. But, you know, she kept her team in the game the whole way. Just couldn't find it offensively in terms of the Buccaneers. And so they go home having been swept by UT, courtesy of a 2-1 11th inning victory here in the series finale.
So the Spartans win 2-1. They take all 3 games of the 3-game series. Mention will be back in 2 weeks as we get ready for Easter Sunday. Thursday, we'll be back in action for 1 game and then a doubleheader on Good Friday. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Bruce Wozniak, Connor Moore, glad to have had you with us. Have a great day, everybody. Signing off.